On this episode of the RacingWire Network podcast, we're going to talk about a new race series for Spec Miatas. All right, welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Brian Belansky. Joining me tonight is David Tuaty and Todd Buras. They're involved with a brand new Pro Series for Spec Miatas, and it's connected with FARA. And welcome to the show, guys. Glad to have you on.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So let's talk a little bit about FARA for a second, because I don't know that everybody knows what FARA is. So let's start with that. What is the series FARA, and what's it about?
Well, FARA series was started 16 years ago in South Florida by racers that basically wanted just something a little bit different, a little bit something more homegrown. The spectacle, the family affair, the trophy presentation. You know, we all do this because we want that 15 minutes of fame.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember racing with a different sanctioning body and finishing and winning my first race. And I came off the track, and I'm waiting for the fanfare. I'm waiting for the trumpets. I'm waiting for the girls. I'm waiting for the confetti. And basically they said, okay, go to the tent over there and pick up a trophy. So I went to the tent, and some guy gave me a box. Didn't even take the trophy out. I got a box and said, good job, and send me on my way. And that was just so anticlimactic. It just not what you expected from winning your first race car, your first race. And it doesn't matter what car it was my first race. I was a race car driver. So when FARA was created, that was something that all the drivers, FARA was created by drivers, for drivers. And that was one of the major things. You know, we wanted the TV coverage that now has become, you know, streaming coverage. We wanted to be able to get on the podium and you know, talk on the loudspeaker and have people cheer for you and take the pictures. Because at the end of the day, it's only the memories that we have to take with us.
Right.
And when we, you know, have those races and we're lucky enough to win, especially in competitive series like Spec Miata, you want to be able to, you know, shout from the rooftops, I won, that's me. And everybody will forget it in this age of social media 10 seconds later, but you have those moments.
Right.
And that is the gusto of FARA. You want to be able to have that. And with that comes the food trucks, the music, the families, because everybody needs to be involved. And when I first started my racing team, you know, my wife was the one that did the hospitality. She's the one that helped me. She's the one that packed the trailers. All that. So that for FARA, whether you are a big team running, you know, 10 cars, or just a mom and pop operation, which is you, your wife, the dog, and Jack, well, that's fine because everybody's welcome and there's a class for everybody to have fun. That's the basis of FARA.
So who are the people behind it?
Well, myself and my partner, David Leda, who we own TLM. We are one part owners. Jose de las Casas, who is the man behind putting the deal together. He is a racer from Peru, second, third generation racer. And Todd Buras. We are the three mosquitoes behind the deal.
There you go. Todd, I understand you're new to this group of people.
This group of people, I am new, but not new to David and to racing. And Dave's right. I mean, I remember our first SCCA race and some of the other series, and you know, the trophies were a little bit bigger back in '96 and '97. Actually, I found some from the other day, and they were taller than my daughters. Pretty special. But today they've changed a little bit. So yeah, very excited to be part of FARA. Very excited to get to the whole presentation that Dave was just talking about. Getting back to live streaming and the excitement of a DJ and podium celebrations and sponsorships and money and the whole nine, because that's every childhood's dream, right? Every kid's dream is to get on the podium, to race, and to have people excited for you and be excited for the people around you.
So we're going to get to this new Pro Spec Miata class in a second. What's the class structure for FARA?
We wanted to do something a little bit different. It is based on the really old IMSA formula of engine sizes. And we wanted to have everybody have a place to come and race. Most of the classes, all the cars are very, very competitive. And they're based on modified production. So you have modified production 1 through 4, what we call MP1, MP2, MP3, and MP4. And most of those are divided in A and B. So just to give you a rough idea, MP4s would be like the small Honda Civics, the small Mazda Miatas with the 1.6
Sure.
engine. MP3 would be like 2.5 liter BMW E36, E30s, E46s. MP3A, which was an offsuit once we got enough cars, was like the 3 liter 944 Porsches, the M3 E36 M3s. MP2 are the home of, now you're starting to get into like the factory built GT4 cars.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an MP2A. MP2B will be like the old E46 M3, the BMW M2 CSRs, which are also factory built. MP1 is where you get the real hyper exotics. That's where we are racing the Porsche Cup cars, the Lamborghini Super Trofeo, the Ferrari Challenge cars. All the SCCA GT1 cars are in there. So MP1A, it's a very cool class to watch.
Cool.
And then we have the prototypes. The prototypes are right now the biggest prototypes we've had in the class were Daytona prototypes,
Mm-hmm.
the DPs. A lot of the cars right now are Wolf prototypes, Ligier LMP3s, Radicals, those kind of cars. And then you have the Formula Inter and Formula FARA, which are based on the F4. Gustavo Yacaman has started the Formula FARA with us, and he is the director of it. So for 2024, we're going to be running F4s exclusively, the Ligier chassis F4s in the Formula FARA series.
Very nice.
Formula Inter is F4, but it is a one make, one team. They provide all the cars. They provide all the support and all the hospitality and everything for that class. And that is made specifically for go-karters in 13, 14, 15-year-old that are starting to go racing. And that's what Formula Inter is like.
Okay. Will there be a big coaching component with that for those young kids?
Yes. There are coaches are very much welcome into our series. In my personal team, there's coaches for the Porsche Cup cars, the Caymans, the Aston Martins. There are coaches that do the F4 exclusively. Our series is a place where coaches can come and race with their customer drivers, the gentleman drivers, or lady drivers, because our format is a lot of track time. We have multiple practice sessions, qualifying sessions, 4 30-minute sprints, and a 2-hour enduro is our normal weekend. It's more track time than you can get anywhere else.
So every class gets 4 30-minute sprints, or is that split up amongst the classes?
Well, right now we run what we call the FARA multi-class, which are the modified productions and prototypes run together. So all the classes get 30-minute sprints and 2-hour enduro every weekend.
Wow. So how does that work out with all of those differently classed and different speed cars all on the racetrack at the same time?
Well, we have 16 years of data, and I can tell you that a Porsche Cup car passing a Mazda Miata has never been a problem.
Okay.
Now, you put 2 Mazda Miatas or 2 Porsche Cup cars together, they're going to have an issue. But we really have never, ever had an issue or an accident because of different class cars. Usually when there's a touch or something like that, it has been between 2 same class cars. But since we acquired FARA, we hired Gerardo Bonilla, who is past professional champion with Mazda, as a matter of fact, in their Le Mans program prototypes. He now is the head of the Lucas Oil Racing School and the Skip Barber Racing School. And he is our race director. And he had one mandate that he has been extremely successful with. This is a no contact series.
Well, wait.
And he will penalize anybody.
Oh, what? Say that again.
This is a no contact series.
I'm unfamiliar with that concept.
Well, you should be, and I have to give credit where credit is due. I took that page from the WRL series that we also run in as a team. They have been extremely successful, and we decided to incorporate that into our series. You can't have contact.
Mhm.
If you have contact, there will be somebody penalized, and you don't have to put a complaint at all. You don't have to protest anybody. Gerardo Bonilla basically is our driver advocate, and if somebody spins you out, data and video will be collected, and there will be somebody at fault, and somebody will get a penalty. If it is, egregious enough, that person might get kicked out of the race for the weekend or for the series indefinitely.
Right.
So no, we mean it. We mean it. We want to have fun without any contact. Everybody should have the same right to put their car back in their trailer the same way they took it out.
All right. Well, that's fairly emphatic, Todd. Have you seen that in practice?
I actually got to send quite a few different scenarios via video and text to this gentleman, and the paragraphs that I got back were incredibly detailed and well thought out. Very impressive. It's instant feedback for the drivers. So if it's called in one of the corners, he'll come visit you, ask for data and video. Please provide it, because if you don't, he'll make it, and then he'll discuss it with the two drivers and figure out what needs to be done. And as Dave said, it is there's no appealing.
Right.
Whatever he comes up with is what it is, and it's very fair. He's been very fair on the 2 or 3 different scenarios I gave him that were real life.
So the new Pro Spec Miata class, obviously you've been involved in Spec Miata for a long time. No contact is not something that people think about when they think about Spec Miata. Is that rule going to play for the Pro Spec Miata class as well?
Bump drafting.
Yes, absolutely. Can I take this, Todd?
Sure.
The no contact on Spec Miata has to be very specific and defined, because part of the charm of Spec Miata is being able to bump draft, and that is going to continue. You will be able to bump draft. It's part of, like we said, that's what people want to see. Where the no contact comes in is if somebody gets spun out, taken out of a rear quarter panel, spun out of the lead, for example, or really any position, on purpose or not. If you can make a mistake and it's fine, but mistakes will be penalized too, and that's something that we all should learn from. And that's one of the things that Gerardo is really good at. Gerardo doesn't just hand a penalty because you deserve one. No. He uses it as a teaching moment, reflection of what happened, why it happened, and how could it be avoided. Everybody should spend 5 minutes with Gerardo before they get into a race car. He's very much a thinking driver and coach and a race director. So when it comes to that kind of stuff, we are going to leave it in his hands. And the Spec Miata drivers are going to be very happy because nobody likes to protest anybody. So if
that's
Todd
not
is
true,
going
actually.
to-
Some people really enjoy protesting people.
Yeah,
But I do
true,
get
but
your point.
Most people don't.
Right.
So they're not going to have to be put in that position.
Right.
Because a lot of the drivers in that series are friends. And you don't want to protest your friend. So if your friend sticks his foot in where he shouldn't, the race director is going to handle it.
Right.
Appropriately.
Right. So, Todd,
And
I was going to say, so Todd, we've tap danced around this for the last 10 minutes or so, or 15 minutes. You came to me a couple months ago all excited about this new thing you were working on, and we talked about doing a podcast on it, and it's now come together, and so new to FARA for I guess next year, and one race coming up this year is a Pro Spec Miata class. Tell me how this came together, Todd.
Well, I was approached by David from hearing it from one other person about a Pro Spec Miata with money race. Dave was looking to grow FARA, and I was like, I have some ideas, and we came together. We became partners along with Jose de las Casas, and we put together a money race, and then we went out searching for sponsorships and different giveaways and prizes, and the response has been incredible. There hasn't been a professional Pro Spec Miata event with these type cars since 2004 and 5, which I was a part of 3, 4, and 5, and for 7 or 8 weekends. Actually, Dave, that's where Dave and I met in 2003. Was at Laguna Seca with BSI Racing, and he had one of the original pumpkins. Orange pumpkins, which everybody who runs Pro Spec Miata remembers. And, that's where our friendship started. So I recalled back in the day, I mean, every weekend we had 70 to 80 Miatas. It was Mazda putting it on, which have come on board. Mazda's done a great job with their purses and their contingency. So we're really excited to have Mazda Motorsports Corporate on board, along with Neighborhood Mazda, that came along and helped us out with this first inaugural race, and for 2024 look to come back. So we're really excited about the prizes, the purses, the racing. I think we already have 30 plus cars signed up for our first inaugural event. We have 6 events next year already scheduled, and we're hoping everybody comes out to Homestead Sebring for the next 6, 7 events.
Right. We're hearing a little tapping on your microphone. So if you
mine?
could, yeah. So I think it's yours. But anyway, so real quick, so money, we've talked about it, or you've mentioned it, and it's a Pro Series. Can you share us something about the purses? Is it more than just a regular, good old fashioned $500 to win contingency?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Go ahead. You want to talk, Dave?
Yes, at headquarters Mazda.
So
yes, just to elaborate on what Todd was saying, when a friend of ours, Steve Shelton, texted me, "Hey, how about you do a money raise for Miata?" I thought about it for a second, and I called 2 people that I trust. One is Shay Holbrook, that now owns BSI Racing, and she said, "Oh my God, whatever you need." The other one was Todd, because Todd is probably one of the daddies in Spec Miata. And Todd liked the idea so much that he says, "Hey, let me invest into FARA." So to say that Todd believes in it, it's beyond words.
Right.
So that makes me feel comfortable, and I love being able to put people together, and that's where the money came in. FARA is giving $5,000 out of our own pocket for the prize money. Todd was able to talk to Mazda, and Mazda factory is putting a $3,000 contingency. And I just got a call on Friday morning, 7 a.m. The owner of headquarters Mazda in Orlando, Hedo Esteves, called me up and says, "David, I will match what Mazda is giving you and give you another $3,000 for this race." To which he wants to be the official dealer of FARA, Mazda dealer of FARA. And I told him that if he wants to come on board, he has to be through 2024. And he says yes, because he also believes in what we're doing. So we have over $11,000 in actual cash for the race. Right now we have distributed 2,000, 1,500, and so forth, which now we have to, we got $6,000 more that we need to appropriate. So that's going to be coming out in the next couple of days. But it is a substantial amount of money. Really looking forward to it. We have more partners than that. Mission Foods has signed up for 3 years to be their naming sponsor. So it's actually the Mission Foods Pro Spec Miata Series. Like I said, Headquarter Mazda has come on board for 2024 and the December race. Safecraft, Charles Espenlaub, is giving a $500 set of belts or $500 credit towards any of his products per race. LTB is giving Momo products. Here's one you don't know. Rook's helmets. My friends from the Dominican Republic are going to give a carbon fiber helmet to the winner of the series.
Very cool.
That is, we're talking $3,000-$4,000 helmet to the winner of the series. Per event, they're going to be giving their Rooks helmet bags. This is extremely high quality, 5-star type gear, and they have come on board. That's a deal that I just shook hands this weekend while racing in Coda. Coloso, it's a food manufacturer from Puerto Rico, and they were one of our first sponsors when we bought FARA last year. They have renewed with us. Chicago Atlantic, it's an investment bank. They have always come on board. They have come on board again for 2024. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, which I hope I'm not. I know that Jose gave us a list of stuff to talk about, which I am definitely forgetting. Right, Jose? What else? What other sponsors do we have? I think that's it for now.
The championship driver gets a test in the Global Cup car with BSI?
Yes, BSI. BSI has agreed to give the championship driver a test in their Global MX-5 Cup car at Daytona, which is an amazing price. We're trying to be able to build a stepping stone from the NAs and NBs Spec Miata to the current global MX-5 Cup cars, and go, big time pro racing.
Todd, how are you guys going to deal with the tech side of this?
We have two individuals that will do tech, similar to SCCA National Tech. Spoke to a couple different drivers this past weekend at one of the events, and different team owners, talking to them to see how deep we want to go. Back in the day, we would get down to valve stems, cranks, and the motors would come home in a box. I don't know if we want to go that deep, which is one reason we're asking for AIM data and video, which we can look at. And those individuals that come ill-prepared or cheating will be dealt with pretty stringently. How about that?
There you go.
The tech will be enforced, as will contact.
And what are y'all going to do for tires?
Tires currently for this race will be open for NASA rules and SCCA, which is Hoosiers and Toyos.
Okay. So whichever specs.
We will be introducing the Hankook tire. Because FARA has been traditionally a Hankook run series. Todd doesn't know this either. All kinds of stuff happens when you're at the racetrack. But Hankook is up with a contingency and tires, and probably some more prize money to add if you run the Hankook tires. So that's something to discuss for 2024. But there are so many partners and companies that want to come on board with us that we're trying to, make sure that it's done correctly and to the benefit of the series and the benefit of the drivers. But we're talking taking Spec Miata real pro racing.
So how many races in the series?
6.
Is that including this December race, or is that in addition to?
No. The December race is a standalone.
Okay.
The season starts February 8th at Homestead. I say 6 races, but it's really 6 events.
Okay.
The format most likely is going to have a qualifying race and a main event. So in reality, you have 12 races through a season, and you also have the possibility, and if you want more track time, to join the regular FARA classes, so you can have an additional 4 30-minute sprints and a 2-hour enduro.
Wow.
And that's the minimum, because we have some specialty races like the Sunset 300, which is a 4-hour night race. That's yet to be decided whether it's going to be Homestead or Sebring. It really depends on the date. But we have lots of specialty races. The Miami 500, which is our biggest event when it comes to spectators, is the February event at Homestead. I mean, we've had 5 to 10,000 spectators come around, which for a local club race of that level was amazing. Now with the Pro Spec Miata, we're looking to grow from there.
So the first race is at Sebring. What are the 6 venues for the series next year? Do you know them off the top of your head?
Yes, we'll have 3 races at Homestead and 3 races at Sebring for 2024.
Okay. So they're all Florida based. So if there's a Spec Miata driver from outside of the area who doesn't want to tow their vehicle from, let's say, I don't know, maybe Pasadena, California, will there be opportunities for you to connect drivers with cars?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. We have now become not only the promoters of FARA, but basically the promoters of every race team in the country that has cars for rent. I have personally rented 4 different Miatas from different teams for guys that want to come and drive. And we are looking to expand. We were a Homestead race series only. We're coming back to Sebring. We're hoping to go to Daytona. And my personal goal is to have at least Road Atlanta and Barber for 2025. Okay. So we have teams that are coming from Texas for this race in December. Obviously, our neighboring states, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. But to have teams coming from Texas tells you, the quality of race that we're putting on.
So, Todd, I know you were talking to me earlier about trying to get some B-Spec cars to come down. Is that going to happen for December, or is that something you're going to still work on for future races?
We're going to still work on that for future races, along with B-Spec and SRF. SRF is pretty promising. We really want the SRF guys. I've spoken in depth to Ryan Schofield and Dwayne, and they're interested. They're interested. They want to see how they're both actually coming to the Sebring race and want to see how it all goes. But They're definitely interested for the 2024-2025.
Got a couple of other things on the bullet list here. FARA Formula. Is anything else you want to add about that before we start to head out?
The FARA Formula is going to be ran by Gustavo Yacaman. With the F4 classes. They do have cars for rent. If you want any information on that, you have to go to info@farausa.com. We'll put you in contact with Gustavo. Obviously, our website, farausa.com, has all the information you need, the schedule. And as a matter of fact, I just got a note from Jose. Fixie Wheels has come up with a gorgeous trophies. They are, not printed. They're I don't know what they are. They're milled out of this aluminum painted. They are absolutely gorgeous. They look like wheels. The kind of stuff that you want to be able to show in your office desk or your house. Fixie has been a sponsor of us since we started. And provide some unbelievable wheels, obviously. But their trophies are a work of art. And really looking forward to handing those out to, like I said on my opening statement, I got a cardboard box for my first trophy, and that will never happen in our series.
Gotcha.
The podium celebrations are pretty special in FARA. We really celebrate the race and make the whole racing that particular race, everybody comes, and it makes it a really special event.
Right.
And the trophies David is talking about are awesome. They truly are amazing. The trophies are awesome.
And it's the kind of stuff that you want to be able to show your friends and family. So even if for the guys that are coming from Texas, they'll be able to see the show on YouTube with Greg Kramer. He is a national hero when it comes to speaking. I mean, he can make melting ice cream sound exciting. and it's just amazing to hear him. And when he calls your name, it gives you chills. So I cannot wait for him to call the Spec Miata race. It's going to be something out of this world. And you can send the link on YouTube to all your friends and family, sponsors, anybody you want. Send it to your enemies so they can envy you. And it's just amazing. It's the kind of stuff you want as a pro driver. You're on TV. Greg Kramer's calling your name. You can't get better than that.
And is that going to be for all of your races next year?
All of the events are going to be live streamed. All of the events are going to have Greg Kramer. When Greg cannot go to the event, he does a remote call in. He believes in it just as much as we do.
I'm a little familiar with your production team, so you guys are going to do a real good job with that.
Good.
So,
Thank you.
We're really looking forward to it.
Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap this thing up?
Just give a special shout out to.
Other than one more thing,
Sure.
we are gonna have right now, because of all of the prototypes that have come up, we are looking to branch the prototypes to their own class, led by the Wolf Cup series, which is basically Manny Sanchez from Manny Sanchez Racing has imported the Wolf prototypes, which are amazing little machines. I mean, they're cost effective and they're just as fast as the Porsche Cup cars. And he's putting probably 10 to 15 of them together. So that is going to be a class to keep your eye on. Really, really fun cars. They look like spaceships. So there's just a lot of different classes that are being added to FARA. We want to be able to meet the demand of the drivers that want to have just a little step above the norm.
Very cool. Todd, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm really excited. December 15th is rapidly approaching, and really looking forward to the first event.
What's the website one more time, just in case anyone wants to check it out, even if they can't get to this first event, to look towards next year?
FARA, FARAUSA.com. And just in case, it stands for Formula and Automobile Racing Association.
Well, there you go. That's a good place to leave it here. He's David Tuaty, Todd Buras. I'm Brian Belansky. That's going to do it for this episode of the Racing Network podcast. You can find us on the YouTube, on the Racing Network. You can also find us on the regular podcasts. It's the RacingWire Podcast Network on all the places where you find your favorite podcasts. That'd be Spotify and Apple and Google and all those other ones as well. So tune in every week. We'll be doing this more and more. Have a great weekend, everybody. And as I always like to say, go play with cars.